With Nicola Pepe likely to depart and Mikel Arteta looking to strengthen his front line, Arsenal are looking for a brand new winger and they seem to be acting. So let's find out who's the signing they've confirmed today. Will they make a move for Leeds United's Raphinha? Could Jarrod Bowen be a surprise transfer target? And what's the latest on the pursuits for the main summer targets? Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bows14 and welcome back to your boys channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video if you enjoy the content and subscribe to the channel if you are new. 100 away from 90k. The support is simply sensational. But let's get into the Arsenal transfer news and starting off with the pursuits of a brand new winger. Bukayo Saka is our star boy. He's our number 7 and every single Arsenal fan loves him. It's things you love to see, but the fact that he played the full 38 games for Arsenal, to put that amount of physical stress on a 20-year-old isn't always positive. And I say that because a prime example of a player that at the age of 26 is simply burnt out is Mr. Dele Alli. From the age of 17 to 22, he played 14,312 minutes, averaging the equivalent of 31 games a season. That amount of physical stress on a young player meant by the age of just 24, Dele Alli looked past his physical prime and a shadow of his younger self. Arsenal would have seen that, and I think they understand they need to manage the minutes of Bukayo Saka, and next year with the extra games we need another top winger to rotate, give Arsenal a competitive edge and to give Arsenal an extra option. And in the search for that brand new winger, Edu Gaspar seems to have understood and he has delivered, as Arsenal have announced their first signing of this transfer window, announcing today a welcome to Arsenal Marquinhos. Edu Gaspar says that we are delighted to have completed the transfer with Sao Paulo, as Marquinhos was a player we had been watching for a while. At 19 he is still very young, so he's a player for the future. He was a player who was actually meant to become a free agent, but Edu Gaspar wants to form a connection with Sao Paulo, so he's paid him 3.5 million euros, and in return Arsenal should have first dibs on any top players they produce in the future. The profile of the player is a wide forward, but also able to play down the middle. In Arsenal's official statement they say Marquinhos will now travel to London from Brazil in the coming weeks to join up with his new teammates for pre-season training. I'm very excited to see the player that Arsenal have here, but this is a player for the future, and at 19 years of age I don't think he's going to be involved heavily in the first team next season. Instead, it seems like Arsenal are also looking at a player for the present and a player more in the peak of his powers, and that player might just be Leeds United's Raphinha. According to Gabriel Sanz of Mundo Deportivo, Raphinha at Barca is losing strength as the days go by. The player is already looking at alternatives to Barca and offering himself to other teams. Leeds already assume that Raphinha will not stay, and Arsenal have positioned themselves to sign him. So Arsenal have definite interest, and this is confirmed by reliable sources in the UK as well, your Charles Watt, your Sam Deans, and it looks like Mikel Arteta has identified Raphinha as an opportunity on the transfer market. After all, the player was destined to go to the new camp, but they don't have the finances. Arsenal certainly do. But in terms of the finances, according to Fabrizio Romano, despite there being no bid or negotiations with Leeds as things stands, they won't accept anything less than 55 million euros for Raphinha. That translates to roughly around 45 million pounds. Putting aside 80 million pounds for your Gabriel Jesus and your Tielemans, Arsenal should have the finances to make a deal happen, and that is before the departure of Nicola Pepe. Raphinha is a player that your boy appreciates, and with 12 goals and 3 assists he kept Leeds in the Premier League. And what Arsenal would be getting here is a player that has played as a right winger but also able to play as a left winger. And I say that because Mikel Arteta likes to have inverted wingers. Saka is a left footer playing on the right wing, therefore with Raphinha being right footed he could play as an inverted left winger. He's a player that would like to start straight away, and therefore it puts the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka under pressure. When you have a top player behind you, it will keep them on the edge and keep pushing them, making sure they understand that if they take their positions for granted, Mikel Arteta will have another option to rotate and take them out of the first team, and that will ultimately breed Arsenal a competitive environment, just like Man City and just like Liverpool, who have players left, right and centre. And for the price tag of 45 million pounds, are you taking the Brazilian at the Emirates Stadium? What about West Ham's Jarrod Bowen? Well, according to an exclusive from the Beautiful Game podcast, Arsenal have made contact with the representatives of Jarrod Bowen, a RKO out of nowhere. Now, in terms of the source itself, himself. These were the guys that were first to the scene of Tammy Abraham to Arsenal last season, with the likes of Fabrizio, Romano and David Ornstein after confirming that Arsenal had definite interest. These guys seem to know what they're talking about, and therefore Jarrod Bowen might be a player that Arsenal are actually targeting. Now this is a player that was on fire in the Premier League, 12 goals and 10 assists last season for West Ham, and with those 22 goals and assists, that's more than any other Arsenal player managed to get last season. He's of a similar age profile to Raphinha at 25. And just like the Brazilian, he's a right-footed right winger, but he potentially could also play as a left wing as well. But the biggest thing for Arsenal here is going to be the price tag. To get West Ham to sell one of their star players, if not their star player of last season, we are talking upwards of 50-60 million pounds. And I like Bowen as a player, he had a very good season, but I just don't think he's worth that sort of money. And with the other priorities that Arsenal have and the other options on the market, I don't think Arsenal are going to show up their interest in Jarrod Bowen, but as always, we're going to have to keep an eye on it. But we're also looking to sign a brand new winger, Raphinha or Jarrod Bowen or maybe someone else. Talk to me down below in the comments. Moving on, let's talk the main summer transfer targets. We've had a cheeky little starter, it's now time for the main course. Let's talk Gabriel Jesus. As reports in Spain claim that Arsenal are the favourites to secure the signing of Gabriel Jesus, despite the interest from Chelsea, with Real Madrid not being a possibility due to the non-EU quotas being full. In terms of Chelsea's interest, I think they've made a late move and I can see why they want the player. But ultimately, Arsenal seem to have progressed the deal to the point where there's an offer on the table. Arsenal have the best financial package. And yes, we don't have the Champions League football, but working alongside Mikel Arteta seems to be an attraction for Mr. Jesus. Man City themselves have announced today the signing of Erling Haaland. But when it came to announcing his shirt number, they said Haaland's shirt will be made available once his squad number is confirmed in due course. It is all but basically confirmed and massively expected that Haaland will be Man City's brand new number 9. But as things stands, that is the number of Gabriel Jesus, so the fact they haven't announced the number kind of just confirms they're waiting for Jesus to leave and then they'll give Haaland the number 9. Right now, a lot of Arsenal fans seem to be very frustrated, and I agree, because we want to see further developments. We want to see Arsenal progress a deal, get it over the line, but ultimately, with the player being on international duties with Brazil, I think it's just slowed the transfer down, and hopefully now the international break is coming to a close, we will see further developments and see the end of his transfer saga. But on top of Jesus, Arsenal are also eyeing up Youri Tielemans. And today, according to the reliable Belgian source in HLN, they claim that Arsenal have kept contacts with Youri Tielemans' entourage warm in recent months and are convinced that if necessary, they can complete a deal quickly after the international break, with Leicester secretly hoping to make about 35 million euros from his sale. Just like Gabriel Jesus, again deja vu FC, we know that Tielemans to Arsenal is a confident deal and Arsenal are closing into it, but this long ass international break is just holding Arsenal back and it's starting to get annoying now. Just give me these two players, get them over the line. And I think it is just very important for us fans to understand how important it is for Arsenal to get these players in during pre-season. No more last minute business where players are coming into the season having not had any time to adapt. Last year, Arsenal lost their opening 3 games of the season, and that was because of a lack of organisation. This year that cannot be the case and we have to learn from our mistakes. But as of right now, it is unfortunately waiting FC for this boring international break to come to a close. But keeping it on the midfield, according to the Mirror, Granit Xhaka has emerged as a target for Bayer Leverkusen as Arsenal step up their bid to land Youri Tielemans. Now yes, technically, Youri Tielemans is being signed to upgrade on Granit Xhaka as that left-sided number 8. But for Mikel Arteta to consistently say that he wants this competitive squad and more than one top player in each and every position, to then sell a player that is as important as Granit Xhaka in his first team would make no sense whatsoever. Tielemans is a signing on top of Granit Xhaka, and unless Arsenal are planning to sign another central midfielder, then I just don't think it makes any sense whatsoever to sell Granit Xhaka. According to reports in Italy, Fiorentina have offered 7 million euros for Lucas Torreira, which is half of the purchase option that was agreed a year ago. Arsenal are so furious with this that they haven't even responded to the offer. The fact that Arsenal agreed an option to buy Lucas Torreira with Fiorentina last season, him then thrive in Florence, win Player of the Month awards and become a top player for them, and then for these guys to come to Arsenal and give us half of the original agreed buy option is absolutely scandalous and it's shameless. But ultimately, I'm not surprised because this is how Italian clubs operate. They don't seem to want to spend a lot of money, they keep their money very close to themselves. But for Arsenal, this can't be the case here. Torreira is a player who's got a contract at Arsenal, he's a player that is peak of his powers, and for me he's a player that if Fiorentina can't afford him, then why not keep Torreira as a squad option and a rotational option for a Thomas Partey. The one midfielder that is definitely leaving Arsenal is Matteo Guendouzi, as Fabrizio Romano confirms that Arsenal will receive 10 to 11 million euros for Matteo Guendouzi from Marseille. The deal has already been sealed after clauses have been met. Now, Guendouzi is a player that has divided opinions in the Arsenal fan base, but for Marseille to be signing a French international midfielder who is still 22 or 23 years of age for just 10 million euros for me is poor negotiating on the behalf of Arsenal Football Club, but it seems to be the max that Arsenal negotiated from the start of last season, and I guess it just is what it is. But in terms of the player himself, he has been speaking to the media in France and said some very interesting things. As when asked about William Saliba, Guendouzi says, "William now has Marseille in his heart, and I am sure he will come back to Marseille next season. So I will try to push him again to stay with us." From being the hero of the Arsenal fan base to the villain of the Arsenal fan base. Listen, Matteo, I understand that things didn't quite work out towards the end of your Arsenal career. I understand why you might have some resentment towards Mikel Arteta. Keep doing your thing at Marseille, do your thing at France, but when it comes to the topic of William Saliba, just keep it moving. We're talking about centre-backs. According to Republica, in recent hours, Arsenal and Man United have made inquiries for Lille centre-back Sven Botman. Surprise, surprise, Arsenal getting linked to centre-backs. Now, in past transfer windows, that would not be a surprise, but now that we have Ben White, Gabriel and a returning William Saliba, do Arsenal need to spend heavy money on a brand new centre-back? Because Botman is a player that has been heavily linked with a move to Newcastle, and the price tag we're talking is around 35 to 40 million pounds. And in terms of the selling club in Lille, Arsenal do have a very good connection with them, and very ironically, Botman is the player that Lille signed when Arsenal signed Gabriel Magalhaes. What do you guys make of the centre-back department, and with the centre-backs that Arsenal already have, do you think it's necessary for us to go out there and sign a player like Sven Botman? But let's move on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with an Arsenal young star boy making his international debut before he's made his Arsenal debut. As Charles Watt says, big night for Marcelo Flores, Mexico debut as a late sub, Suriname in a 3-0 win. Unfortunately, he had a penalty saved and had to be consoled by his teammates, but the fact that an 18-year-old was even allowed to take it shows the big impact that he has made. 18 years of age, it just goes to show the quality of youngster that Arsenal have on their hands, and there's no surprises of course because he comes from Hill End, and Hill End is an Amazon Prime delivery service when it comes to producing top youngsters. But talking about international excellence, that's now 2 clean sheets in 2 matches played for England by Aaron Ramsdale. It was a boring 0-0 draw, but Ramsdale made some very good saves, a very good one-on-one save, and if you are to believe reports, he's also going to start the next England game as well. But very conveniently, talking about goalkeepers, next up, let's talk Bernd Leno. As according to David Ornstein, Fulham are in talks to sign Bernd Leno. A newly promoted team to the Premier League wants an experienced goalkeeper and a German international. I'm not surprised. But when speaking to Bild, Leno's agent said, "For me personally, Bernd is the clear number 1 at Arsenal, with all due respect to the competitors. Yes, Fulham is trying hard to get Bernd. This is also true for some other clubs, and that shows his status." With the agent confirming that so many clubs are actively trying to sign Bernd Leno, I'm not too surprised because this is a goalkeeper that is simply too good to be on the Arsenal bench. He's got too much experience, and to make the Germany squad for the World Cup, he wants to and needs to be playing far more first team minutes. For me, Leno is going to leave Arsenal, but to which club and for how much, we're going to have to wait and see. Anyways guys, that's the video there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and if you have, make sure to go down there to smash a like and subscribe if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on all of those social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was today's episode of the Transfers FC. We have made our first official signing. Welcome to Arsenal, Marquinhos, but now Yuri Tielemans, Gabi Jesus. I need some more signings. Get it done, Arsenal. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, and in a bit.